wrote, I think it's the longest stretch during the season Clemson has gone without a game since like 1910 or something.
Yeah, I'd never heard of such.
But you come home with probably the most interesting 3-game homestand that I've seen at Clemson in a long, long time. November 3rd, you got Notre Dame. If both teams come in there undefeated, which is a strong possibility, it could be one of the bigger hyped games in Clemson history.
Sure it will.
Just because of who the opponent is, the national implications, because everybody nationally watches what Notre Dame does, no matter who they are or what their record is. People are watching Notre Dame. So then the next week, you pour your heart and soul into that one, and here comes Paul Johnson and Georgia Tech with their circus show, and I guess the one advantage you will have this year is you will have seen Wofford, and at one time Paul Johnson wanted Mike Ayers to be his offensive coordinator. So there are some very similar principles. So you will have already seen the triple option, but Georgia Tech has been a pain in Clemson's rump for quite a while.
Yeah, some of the pundits are picking them to win the conference too.
If you don't have if you're not solid up front, they're going to break one. They're going to break several on you, and that could be a problem.
That's where attrition comes in.
And then
Clemson's
comes
weak
Boston
anyway.
College, and they have been extremely tough on Clemson. It's always been a fist fight. It has turned into a really good rivalry. It's always a tight game, and that could be a long afternoon. And then you got a 2-game road trip that I don't think's that easy. You're at Miami.
Scary.
And at that time, they're either on a roll or they're playing for Al Golden's job if they care.
If they still have him.
Well,
I've heard that they may that's going to be a short string on him this year.
Well, he's definitely on the hot seat. And then on Halloween, you go to NC State. And
That's
there's
horrible.
Been a lot
place.
of crazy things happen in Raleigh. And that'll probably be a night game. And because NC State has very high expectations this year. They think they've turned the corner. And then you come home for, the game that everybody points to, and the game that normally determines the division championship, and one you've got to win if you want to go to Charlotte and have a chance to make a impact on the national picture when Florida State comes to town.
And by then,
Everett Golson and
Golson will
he's
be
either very, very good or he's very, very bad.
He'll be well steeped into that offense by then.
And but he did have games last year where he turned it over 4 and 5 times. So he's not, I don't think, the most solid thing. But he'll be hyped up. He's from Myrtle Beach, and he will be coming home, so to speak. So and then you're at Syracuse, which, depending on where you stand, then if you've got a couple of losses, or if you're undefeated, they didn't have any trouble last time they went up there. I don't anticipate having any trouble. There are not very high expectations at Syracuse. Then you come home for Wake, which you should be able to handle. And then you go to South Carolina, and then say you're undefeated or have one loss, and know you're going to Charlotte, and you're in the thick of the national talk. That could be nerve-wracking, to say the least.
Nothing would thrill those people more than to knock out of all of that. Man, it would make their whole year, no matter how bad they had been during the year.
It would. I don't know, if it comes to that. In my mind, it would be probably one of the most painful losses ever dealt in that series by either side.
Yeah.
But anyway, I remember the year that they were both 5-5, and it was 85. It was 85. Yeah, my roommate covered South Carolina, and I was working for the Orange and White at that time. We were both So South Carolina took like a 10-0 lead, 14-0 lead, and I was laughing because he was going to have to go to Shreveport.
Yeah.
And then, damn it, the Tigers rallied and won the game, and I had to go to Shreveport. So that was probably one of the more painful victories in the history of the series.
Has Clemson ever won that game out there?
No, they've only been there once.
Oh, I thought they'd been there twice. Okay.
And they got beat by
Notre Dame.
Minnesota.
Ricky Foggy.
From Lawrence.
And
Lou Holtz had quit. Lou Holtz had quit and gone to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And turned it over to a guy named John Gutenkunst, who ended up, he got fired there, and he ended up later on being like a linebacker coach at Duke or something. But yeah, they lost that game like 20-14 or something on a really bitterly cold night in Shreveport, Louisiana. And that was back before Shreveport had casinos, so it was
There's some good food there, though.
Well, yeah, I guess. If you like crawfish.
Yeah, I do.
Well, I never quite learned how to eat them or acquired a taste for them. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm thinking, much like with Georgia, 8-10 wins. I don't think this will be a playoff team. I don't. I just think the offensive and defensive lines of scrimmage, there are just too many question marks and not enough depth. I mean, you're playing a freshman offensive tackle for the first time since 1944, when Phil Prince, who is now the oldest living Clemson football player at 89 years old, was a starting freshman tackle. And he went on to Board of Trustees and was president for a while. And but there's just too many. There's too much there now. And I know their offense doesn't require drive blocking and all that kind of stuff. And Watson gets rid of the ball real quick, but you still got to. Up front, you still got to make it happen, and maybe it'll develop. And we talk about the fronts, but Clemson has gotten really thin at linebacker too. It has been one of the roughest off seasons that Dabo has faced since he's been there.
He's never had this kind of attrition before.
With the Lapkin getting suspended for cocaine. And he'll be back after September, which is what I figured would happen, 3-game suspension. And whether he can even compete for the job then, they've found a kicker.
Yeah, they have, a walk-on.
Wide open competition, found that. And that's another scary issue. You're getting your first close game. Your place kicker's new, your holder's new, and your snapper's new. All three of those people are playing for the first time. So, and they haven't been in the fire yet, so that could be an issue. But you've had one player quit. You've had another player. You had Reader step away from the game. Who knows when he'll be back? Some people speculate October. It's just I don't know. Part of me looks at these situations and realizes, you know what, some of these kids are probably stressed to the max, and it's a full-time job.
Yeah.
And mentally, physically, it's a beating.
And they've been
mentally, they're probably just
since they were 8 years old. They've been doing this too.
Yeah. I'm not ever gonna criticize anybody for stepping away, because they've got themselves to take care of, and it's just football. So
yeah.
But anyway, it should be a interesting season at Clemson. The schedule is definitely one that will, if they can perform and win, just win, baby. If they can do that, then they will be in the discussion. They have to be. With Notre Dame, Georgia Tech, and Florida State all on the schedule.
Listen, you said it. Do not overlook North Carolina State. Do not overlook Miami.
No. All it takes these days is one Saturday, and Dabo has done a really good job of that. they have a nice little run now of beating non-ranked opponents, and in fact, I think he said Saturday would be 28. If they beat App State, that would be 29.
Uh-oh.
You go to Louisville on 29. So the Louisville game's going to tell us an awful lot.
Yes, that's a scary thing.
Short prep week.
And it is for them too. I think they play.
Yeah, it is.
They open
No,
up.
they open
up at Texas, and then they have. I forgot who it is. They have coming in there, and then Clemson.
I can tell you that since you didn't bring the Georgia schedule.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
They have Auburn in Atlanta Saturday.
Yeah, Auburn. Yeah.
So
When I say Texas,
if they can beat Auburn for you, then that Thursday night becomes even bigger.
Yeah.
Then they go home for Houston.
Okay.
Well, Houston has a reputation for scoring a lot of points.
They'll throw it around.
And then they got Clemson. So it could get real interesting real early if you can get out of October undefeated, and then you're looking at that 3-game homestand. But you can't play but one game on a Saturday. So, but I just caution Clemson people for ever since 1981. This has been the year they're going to win the national championship, and I just say there's just so much that's got to go right for that to happen. This is so much, and it's just not only do you have to perform, but you got to have some luck. And I think I heard the first rankings this year don't come out till like the first top 4 ranking bowl committee ranking. I mean.
Playoff committee. It's late.
Doesn't come out till like November.
Yeah.
First Sunday in November.
It's pretty late.
So that will probably help a lot. There won't be a whole lot of talk of that until the month of November. So.
Okay, Cobb, thank you for being with us so much. I know it's a lot of problem for you to get here lots of times, and I really do appreciate it.
Oh, you're the problem.
And, well, okay. All right. Okay, everybody. Now, if you're still listening here, we will also have.
If your eyes haven't totally rolled back in the back of your head.
We will do another show this week, another high school show with Lake Morris from the Independent Mail. And so you can listen to a whole lot of mostly sports talk.
If you don't listen to this one, we'll do 2 more shows.
Yes, we'll get you. Okay, everybody. As Cobb as usual, I have made a kind of a goof up there, but let's see if we can get. I wish I had Percy to get me out of here, but I don't have Percy to get me out of here. See you, everybody.